Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today, at long last, I'm going to be taking a look at this, the Transformers Bumblebee Premium Collector Series figure from Threezero. Let's see how it turned out.
Greetings. Please log in. Username authorized.
Alright, first up as always is the packaging, and this is kind of cool. I really love what they've got going on here with the artwork. I'm not versed enough in the language of package design to be able to describe what we have going on here, but I just really like this silhouette going on of Bumblebee's head with this sort of linear artwork that just kind of draws you towards this image of the figure. I'm assuming it's the figure because, as we'll see in a minute when we get into the guts of this box, this figure looks remarkable and it does some pretty remarkable things. But everything about this is evocative of the film if you've seen it. The same kind of stuff goes on as you rotate it around to this side. You can see Bumblebee pulling his best Judd Nelson. Coming around the back, we got the Autobots logo, as well as some of the usual suspects, legalese, and oh, here's some more cautionary stuff on the side, as well as that's clearly some artwork of the figure itself. There's a little bit more to this. This actually slides up and over. And so then you've got that off to the side. You can see that there's a plastic belt wrapped around this thing to keep the styrofoam packaging from opening up, and that's kind of a welcome addition. You've got your Autobots logo, some sort of a recessed Bumblebee logo stuff going on here and there and all over the place. It's just Bumblebee, Bumblebee, Bumblebee all the time. But that's enough of that. Let's drop this thing onto the table, get into the guts of it, and see how it looks. All right, everyone, here he is, the Transformers Bumblebee Premium scale figure from Threezero. Wow, and it comes with a whole lot of stuff. It also came with a whole lot of foam and everything between all these individual little parts. I mean, just look at this. The headlight parts on him move, so you can position those where you need them to be. All this stuff right here moves, this moves, this moves. It's very much a much larger scale version of what we saw in the DLX format, which I have around here somewhere, and I'm going to throw him into the mix. Over here we've got his battle helmet, we've got a battle blade, we've got a cannon that also has a battery compartment in it, so that thing's going to light up. These things are going to light up, which the DLX series did not do. Of course, the lights are going to light up, not only red but green. I'm sorry, not only blue but red, one of those. And we've got here the open doors, the open doors when he has them spread, as well as the folded doors where they're going to be relaxing up against his back. Not quite sure what these are, but these are for different facial expressions. That's unique to this figure. Can't wait to explore that option. But what I really want to talk about is this paint. Look at how gorgeous it is. I mean, they've really taken this to the next level with this figure, far beyond what we got to see with the DLX. But you expect that when your scale gets larger, that you have the freedom to get that much more detailed, a little bit more intricate with your paints. Not all collectibles companies accomplish that, but Threezero has pulled it off here in spades. I'll probably talk more about that as the video progresses. For now, I've got to get some batteries in this thing, so let me just show you how that's going to be done. All right, here he is, Bumblebee out of his box, ready to go, ready to have his batteries installed. Now, I found out after I opened this thing that batteries aren't included, so I had to step out and buy some of my own. The recommended batteries that they mentioned in the packaging are AG13. I did a little bit of Googling and found out that the 357s are a perfect match for this, allegedly. We'll find out after we get them open. So now, for now, I'm just going to show you how to get the batteries into the head. I'm gonna pop these open really quick. Now, the whole figure itself, to fully outfit it with batteries, is gonna take 10 of these batteries. I have 9 here, but I do have a couple more packages. So let's just go ahead and, actually, to be honest, I actually don't know which way is the proper way that these go in. So I'm just gonna guess that that's positive and that's negative. Let's throw that in there and see what happens. And hopefully nothing explodes. Or, hopefully we don't wind up having an evil Bumblebee. Once you get this on, you can press that all the way down. There we go. Got red, we got blue. I hope that's showing up. And off. little button there. The Autobot logo is in fact the button. There's a satisfying click when you press it. Look how just gradually it fades into the colors. That's a nice touch. Reminiscent of the figure, of the character itself in the film. I dig that a lot. All right, so that's cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the batteries in the gun as well. Okay, so it looks like the way that this works is that this has to pop out. Oh, I see. Okay, so for the arm cannon, you just have to pop the bicep off. Slides right off, easy peasy mac and cheesy. And looks like, yeah, just like in here, the back. The flat little silver plate in there, as opposed to the pointy end, is going to be where the positive end goes. I kind of wish I had tweezers. I frequently do. I don't know where they are right now, so. All right, that's there. Then once that happens, you can get this arm back on. I should have taken note. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. There we go. What's happening here? Well, son of a bitch. Okay, once you've wrestled through the different variations of where you can put that arm together, you can drop that down. The button for the cannon is, somebody didn't do his homework. Now, sadly, what I'm finding out is that the on-off switch for the cannon is also on the inside here, so you have to, you actually have to dig in here. It's a little tiny thing that I don't even know if it's showing up. And then put that back on, and you can see that the cool little laser beam is right there. Again, I don't know how often I'm gonna have this on, only for photography, so just to make sure that that battery lasts, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off for now. And put that thing back together. Same principle is going to apply for this head, so I'll just go ahead and show you those in photography. Time to move on to the close-up of the chest, which, just to show you, I'm just going to take this off right here. Boom. That comes off pretty easy. Let's get 2 more batteries out. Now, looks like the positive side is going to go up. Nope. So I'm just going to slide this in here. And slide this one in over here. Well, that is a tight squeeze right there, man. Again, if you have tweezers or maybe some pliers to grip it, that might benefit you. There we go. And the switch is right here. Look at that, nice and bright. Very cool. And then it's just a simple matter of popping that back on, that being the keyhole, that being the key, a little bit of a ball joint there. Yeah. And I think, let me see, it's going to be very difficult to do this, to turn this on and off without actually going in there and popping it off first. But I think it can be done. You may need some sort of a tool. Let's see this guy. There he is. That double jointed thing in there. It's kind of tight. Could be tighter. Anyway, so that's how the batteries go in. And let's just see what he can do for a posing session. All right, everyone, here he is, Bumblebee. Wow. He is very, very large. Now, as promised, I'm just gonna go ahead just for the sake of, and just get this out of the way right now, but this is the Bumblebee DLX series. So as you can see, it's about twice the height of this original release, which is probably, in my estimation, one of the best figures of that year, and still stands on its own as just pretty much a perfect figure overall. My first impression of this is that they've legitimately ported a lot of the stuff, a lot of the things that they learned with this figure over to the premium scale figure. Premium scale isn't actually, they just call it the premium figure. The big bonus that we get here, obviously, is because of the larger scale, then Threezero was actually able to implement a much more detailed weathering layers, much more detailed weathering layers on top of the yellow paint scheme than what we got over here. So while this is extraordinary for its scale, they did not slack when they upscaled. They took the opportunity to really, really deliver when it comes to the detail, the weathering, the dripping bits of rust that you see down there. It's really just a rich, rich paint scheme. Points of articulation here, there are several. The cool thing is, look at that, just a slight little bit of an extension there. And then of course you just have your regular, man, this is just, there's so much going on here, and it seems to be so delicate that I do have a concern. But it seems like these little plastic pieces right here, they're flexible, so they won't break easily, but at the same time, you just don't want to like run the risk of doing anything that's going to damage them. So just be really careful when you're moving. And see over here, I just gripped it by that, and it just kind of moved out of the way. So just be really careful how you grip the figure and in what position you have the forearms in when you begin to flex them. Now, I've said it before in multiple videos, and I'm going to say it again now with this figure. I'm sensing that this is probably a very, very important bit to add. But when you're working the joints like this, then make sure that you grip the figure, make sure that you grip the appendage as close to that point of articulation as you can. The further out you go, the more likely you are, the more leverage that you create, and the more likely you are to cause some catastrophic damage to that point of articulation. So you don't want that. Just keep your hands as close as you can to the joints at all times, anytime that you're making a bend. All right, so we've got that. You know what that can do. Check this out. These little guys move out of the way. So that's cool. You can do some really awesome stuff with this. And checking the knee. I don't always do this test, but since I don't know this figure that well, see how that was? See how I started to bend there and it just kind of rubbed up against that? No damage to the paint. That's a gift. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this knee bend going. Look at that, look at that. You know what this is? This is a testimony to the quality of the design of Bumblebee, the character in the film. The fact that they actually put enough thought and effort into every piece of him that it would make sense. Any time that you saw any sort of movement, it would be believable. They went that extra step in the design for the film, and because they did that, I suspect that Threezero's job was made a lot easier when it came to the design. All they had to do was port over what the film's designers created, and they were just able to make it all work because the design made sense. So anyway, in short, when we're talking about doing the leg bend, anytime that you're going to manipulate any parts of these legs, I think it would behoove you to actually just move these hip pieces out so as to avoid any sort of collision. You might actually be able to do things with these later on that just kind of make any pose more attractive. Other things to note is that like this part down here, that seems to be on a ball joint that swivels any which way, so you can keep that from colliding later on. And of course, one of the things we haven't mentioned yet is each one of these digits is articulated. So, there, pose is done. Woohoo! How to be a poser. All right, now. All right, step 2 of this process. I don't know which, I think that I want to have him doing. I saw a pose, I don't know where it was, of him with his arm cannon, where he's on a knee, Bumblebee's on his knee, and he's like, this is his arm cannon, and he's like cradling it with one arm as he's just on his knee blasting. So I'm trying to decide, I think that this knee needs to be the forward knee. Let's just go ahead and get the basics set up here. Now, speaking of basics, I'm going to use the closed windows because I just buzzed through the Bumblebee film again the other day and looking for a point at which he was actually using his unfolded doors / wings, whatever you want to call them. And for the life of me, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find a single example of that being used. So, what's going on here? So I'm assuming that these are meant to be deployed if you want these guys, if you want to include these doors. You pop that on there and then pop this on there. You can't do that first. Apparently there's probably some sort of concern that you're going to scratch the paint. I don't know why they did it that way. I'm just going to roll with it. Looking at this, yeah, these are just locked into place. Let's see, this doesn't move. So I guess we gotta just slide that in there and then press in to lock it into place on those 2 keys. Same thing over here. Man, that is tight. You can see that they swivel. So at least we have some sort of articulation going on here. I think that that's in. Oh, man. Yeah, so you get a little bit of a bend there. Let's rotate that inward. Okay. Don't want them colliding. All right, that's fine. Okay, that's out of the way. Speaking of out of the way, let's get those out of the way. We don't need those anymore, or this. And I think he's gonna be using this head in what I have in mind. So that means we don't need all these eyebrows. I'll show you that later. Cool little thing here that I can point out is that I'm just gonna pop out Bumblebee's head for this. But his regular head, his non-battle portrait, if you will. Let's see if I can get these out. Maybe I have to pop the head top off. This is, popping the top off here is, as I showed you earlier, is the way to get the batteries in. And I think that, yeah, once you pop that off, then it makes it easier for you to just pop out the various, they call them eyebrows, and I think that that's probably kind of appropriate, although I feel like the eyebrows would be more, the analog for eyebrows is more this chrome bit right here. This feels to me more like, at the very least, it's a little bit eyelids, an eyelid analog. So you can grab another set. Let's see. You can see that the key is very specific, so there's a flat part at the top of it, and that you can use that as your guide. So let's see which ones I have here. It's kind of hard to tell when you're just looking at them. Somewhat closed. Put that on and it just looks... Does he look sad there? Or just like he's squinting? He kind of looks sad there. Looks like sad B. So there's 4, I guess a total of 4 different sets of eyelids / eyebrows that you can apply to the figure. And wow, yeah, that's angry. Oh, I love that. Look at that, angry bee. Yep. Look at that, angry Bumblebee. Yeah. That could be cool, but that's not what I want to use today. All right, I'm just gonna reset this head, put back on the normal eyebrows. I'm getting good at this. Practice makes perfect. Poser tip. But for this pose, we're going to be using the battle head. Let's just bring that head back in here. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's his business face. All right, let's pop this arm off. Very easy to do. They made that very simple for me. Thank you very much for that. And this is his bicep, so that's going to go up. Oops. Yeah, okay, again, you see what I did there? Be careful where you apply pressure when you're trying to counter the effects here. Oh, man, what's going on here? Bend that up. Does that bend? Yeah, it does. It bends right there. There we go. Rotate that. Done. Okay, we got a cannon. Now, my concern was that when I saw this pose being done and he was holding his forearm like that, my concern was that that was an indicator that maybe the figure wouldn't be able to support the weight of the cannon. As you can see, that's just not the case. It fully supports the weight of it. Totally thrilled about that, I gotta say. So let's see. I'm gonna do this leg forward, so let's move this out of the way so that I can get some bend. I'm really nervous about this. The thing about my experience with posing 6-scale figures, for instance, is that okay, look at that. That's just very, very flexible. I keep thinking that it's broken, but it's not. It's just on like hoses and such. But the thing about posing a completely unique figure like this is that when I'm posing the usual 6-scale figures, those figures come on a body that is familiar. It's basically the same body no matter what you get. Basically at their foundation, at their core, 6-scale figure bodies are pretty much the same. So once you've had a little bit of practice with one of them, then you kind of know how to do it with how to pose all of them. But when you get a unique figure like this Bumblebee figure, you're bringing to bear a truly unique figure. I mean, this is a unique figure body. They're not going to replicate this anywhere else. This is exclusive to this character. So, What am I looking for here? Oh, yeah, I need to know exactly. I'm breaking out the instructions, and as I said before, you can see in the instructions just how much give the legs have, and in this case, it's a lot. Man, still makes me nervous though. Let's bend that one, and then let's bend that knee. Look at that. So, how much? Wow. Oh, I don't like to say, I never like to say that a figure can pose itself, but damn, this thing is pretty freaking close. Ah. Wow. And again, I don't usually like to do this, what I'm about to do here with having the figure straight arm as weapon. But I've got to say that it kind of looks attractive with this Bumblebee. Oh my god. Let's just spin this around. And I think that instead of having him reaching over and cradling it, I kind of like the counterbalance of rotating this arm back and having him flex a little bit and just giving him like that claw effect. Like he's not quite making a fist, he's just like, you know? That's not unattractive. What a great figure, man. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that he was leaning over so far there. So let's go ahead and see if I can drop this back down. Get a peek in there and see which direction this can go. There we go. Okay, give me some more clearance there. Up, and not much in the way of torso twist there, I'm afraid. I thought I had more room to play there, but I actually think that this is not unattractive. So for the first pose, yeah, it's pretty darn cool, and then you can just kick those lights on, put them in angry eyes mode. And that really freaking sells it. Dudes, this is a great figure. I'm hardly even trying, and it just still looks cool. So there it is. There's my Bumblebee action pose.
This piece is pretty much perfect. Having said that, I think that if you plan to get it, once it's in your possession, it would behoove you to actually familiarize yourself. Take your time, acquaint yourself with every point of articulation, figure out which parts are meant to be breakaway and which parts are not, and use caution. Again, I've thrown out a couple of different ideas, tips for you to use when manipulating the joints on this. They're pretty much universal across all 6 skill, but definitely bring them to bear when you're working with this Bumblebee. A lot of people are going to ask, Terry, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the Premier or do you prefer the DLX? I don't know if there's a clear preference. I think a lot of it is going to boil down to the collector's individual needs. Each one of these things is magnificent, but if you really want to go ahead and upgrade and get that superior quality paintwork in your piece, then you're going to have to go the way of the Premium series here. It's just an absolutely magnificent figure. But don't listen to me talk. Let the photos do the talking for me. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, be good to your plastic.